Yep, that's Doctor Strange. You're probably wondering how he ended up in this situation. Well, with the sequel, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness almost upon us, we're winding back the clock with a little help from the Eye of Agamotto to recap the Good Doctor's entire story in the MCU. From his solo movie to guest appearances and his team up with the Avengers, here's Doctor Strange's story so far.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy.
How long have you been at Kamar-Taj, Mr.
Doctor.
Mr. Doctor?
It's strange.
Maybe.
Before he became the master of the mystic arts, Dr. Stephen Strange was a gifted yet arrogant neurosurgeon who pretty much had it all. Money, acclaim, a former love interest in one Dr. Christine Palmer, and an extensive knowledge of chart-topping flugelhorn players.
Where do you store all this useless information?
Useless? The man charted a top 10 hit with a flugelhorn.
But unfortunately, he wasn't so good at keeping his eyes on the road. The accident crippled his hands and cost him his entire career, which sent him into a downward spiral. Strange spent all of his money trying to fix himself, and became so bitter that he pushed away the one person who truly cared about him.
You care so much, don't you?
Goodbye, Stephen.
At his lowest point, and with nothing else to lose, Strange hears a, well, strange story where a paraplegic man by the name of Jonathan Pangborn miraculously regained the use of his legs. While skeptical, Strange takes Pangborn's tip and heads to Kamar-Taj to seek the same treatment for himself. And that is where he meets the people who will change the course of his life forever, Karl Mordo and the Ancient One. For a guy asking for help, Strange is astonishingly condescending to the Ancient One when she tries to explain how Pangborn wasn't healed by practical medicine, but by reorienting his spirit to better heal his body. Strange finally sees the light when the Ancient One knocks his astral form out of his body and sends him on a mind-blowing tour of the universe.
Who are you in this vast multiverse, Mr. Strange?
With his third eye finally opened, Strange is humbled by the Ancient One's power and seeks her teachings as a student of the Masters of the Mystic Arts. That's a mouthful. Strange learns that when sorcerers use magic, they're channeling the energy of the multiverse to create weapons, shields, and spells. He learns about opening portals with a sling ring and accessing a parallel dimension known as the Mirror Dimension. He meets Wong, the librarian of Kamar-Taj, and devours every book he can snatch out of a portal. He discovers the Eye of Agamotto and teaches himself to control the power of the Time Stone within. And he receives lessons on magical weapons and combat from Mordo.
There are many relics. The wand of Atum, the vaulting boots of Valtor.
Really just roll off the tongue, don't they?
Now, what would he need combat training for? Well, it turns out a disgraced former student of the Ancient One named Caecilius is leading a group of zealots in an attempt to bring the ruler of the Dark Dimension to Earth, an all-powerful evil being named Dormammu. The New York Sanctum is attacked by Caecilius, and Strange barely escapes with his life, but hey, he gets a sentient magical flying cloak out of it. Eventually, there's a showdown full of twists of fate and revelations, like that the Ancient One was secretly drawing power from the Dark Dimension to unnaturally extend her life. And then, in the ensuing battle, Caecilius fatally wounds the Ancient One. Strange is unable to save her life, but they share one last moment together on the astral plane where Strange learns the most important lesson of his life.
Arrogance and fear still keep you from learning the simplest and most significant lesson of all.
Which is?
It's not about you.
Things go from bad to worse when Doctor Strange and Mordo arrive in Hong Kong to see that Caecilius and his followers killed Wong and destroyed the Sanctum, opening a breach to the Dark Dimension. So, Strange unleashes the power of the Time Stone to hit the rewind button, reversing the destruction and bringing Wong back to life. But, rather than fight Caecilius again, Strange goes straight to his manager, flying into the Dark Dimension to face Dormammu head-on.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
And bargain he does, over and over and over again. Dead, dead, double dead. Doctor Strange finally learns some humility and puts others over himself, choosing to sacrifice his life repeatedly until Dormammu finally accepts his bargain to leave in exchange for being released from the time loop. And he takes Caecilius and his backup dancers with him. The day is saved, but not without consequences. Though Mordo was an ally up until this point, he decides to leave the Masters of the Mystic Arts. Between his loss of faith in the Ancient One after learning her dark secret, and their own actions with the Time Stone that broke nature's laws, he believes there will be a price to pay for what they've done.
The bill comes due. Always.
And when we catch up with old Pangborn, it turns out Mordo is the one coming to collect.
Why are you doing this? Because I see at long last what's wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers.
But things aren't all bad at the end of Strange's origin story. He takes up residence in the New York Sanctum, and Wong continues to teach him the ways of the mystic arts. Next lesson, Infinity Stones.
So Earth has wizards now.
The preferred term is Master of the Mystic Arts. You can leave that now.
All right, wizard.
But before we get back to those rainbow rocks, we've got to touch on Doctor Strange's cameo in Thor Ragnarok. When Thor and Loki return to Midgard in search of their father Odin, Doctor Strange kidnaps Loki and leaves his card behind for Thor to come pay him a visit at the Sanctum Sanctorum. As Strange explains to the God of Thunder, part of his job is to keep a watch list of beings who pose a threat to Earth. Given how Loki tried to invade Earth with a Chitauri army, well, he certainly makes the list. Thor agrees to leave Earth with his adopted brother if Strange tells him Odin's location. And as we know, Doctor Strange loves a good bargain. So he returns Loki.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
And sends them on their way.
All right, bye-bye.
Attachment to the material is detachment from the spiritual.
I'll tell the guys at the deli. Maybe they'll make you a metaphysical ham on rye.
For Doctor Strange's next adventure, he becomes a key player in a cosmic war where the fate of the very universe hangs in the balance. And he first finds out about it when the Hulk falls into his house.
Thanos is coming. He's coming. Who?
You see, the Mad Titan Thanos has been on a quest to round up the 6 Infinity Stones, including the one Strange wears around his neck. And now the Doctor must team up with the Avengers to stop him. Only Strange really doesn't like Tony Stark.
What is your job exactly besides making balloon animals?
Protecting your reality, douchebag.
Then, when 2 of Thanos' enforcers arrive in New York City, Doctor Strange does his best to fight them off with his new allies, but he winds up getting abducted by aliens. Lucky for him, Iron Man and Spider-Man stowed away and helped save his life. But rather than go home, the heroes decide to take the fight to Thanos, with Strange making it abundantly clear where his priorities lie.
All right, Stark. We go to him. But you have to understand, if it comes to saving you, or the kid, or the Time Stone, I will not hesitate to let either of you die.
The heroes join forces with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and together they make a plan to stop Thanos on his home planet, Titan. Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone to glimpse numerous alternate futures and see the possible outcomes.
How many did you see?
14,605,000. How many did we win?
One.
With their trap for Thanos set, Doctor Strange greets the Mad Titan and learns his motivation for wanting to use the completed Infinity Gauntlet to erase half of all life in the universe out of existence with a snap. Not liking that one bit, the heroes spring into action and battle with Thanos. A battle they lose. Hard. Because someone had to go and get emotional. For what it's worth, Doctor Strange does hold his own against Thanos and shows just how powerful he's become in the time since his first movie. But Strange is knocked out, and it all comes down to Iron Man versus Thanos. Tony never stood a chance, and when Thanos goes to finish him off, Doctor Strange makes a shocking and baffling move. Despite his earlier proclamation and clear distaste for Tony, he surrenders the Time Stone in exchange for his life, giving Thanos exactly what he wanted before he teleports to Earth to claim the final stone. What the Doctor Strange?
We're in the Endgame now.
Oh right, he had to set up the sequel and tease the title. Remember, Doctor Strange saw the one future where the heroes beat Thanos, and in order for them to win, they had to first lose. So, Thanos succeeds in snapping half of the universe out of existence, including Doctor Strange, and so he's nothing more than dust in the wind until Avengers Endgame.
Is that everyone?
But you wanted more?
Talk about playing the long game. The next Avengers movie is the climax of the Infinity Saga, but Doctor Strange doesn't reappear until the finale. While he was gone along with the other dearly dusted, the surviving heroes killed Thanos after learning he destroyed the Infinity Stones. 5 years passed, Tony Stark invented time travel so the heroes could get the stones back, and Professor Hulk snapped everyone back to life. Only, it's not quite a happy ending just yet, because Thanos from 2014 caught wind of their plan, and he brought an army with him to the present to make sure the actions of his future self are not undone. And just when it looked like the Avengers had lost, familiar sparkling portals appear, and out of them pour all of the resurrected heroes, including Doctor Strange, his fellow sorcerers from Kamar-Taj, and warriors from across the universe ready to take down Thanos.
Avengers!
Assemble.
The most epic battle to end all epic battles ensues, and Tony Stark reunites with Doctor Strange on the battlefield, reminding us that there is a version of this that ends in victory, but pesky rules of time travel force Strange to keep quiet on just how.
Hey, you said 1 out of 14 million we win, yeah? Tell me this is it.
If I tell you what happens, it won't happen.
You better be right.
Oh, he's right, but you're not gonna like how it all plays out, Tony. Eventually, Thanos gets hold of the gauntlet and is poised to snap again. That's when Strange reminds Tony there's only one way the plan will succeed: for Tony to sacrifice his life to save everyone he loves. Tony swipes the stones back in the nick of time, snaps Thanos out of existence, and the founding hero of the MCU passes away, earning the admiration of his fellow heroes and, though they didn't always get along, the respect of Doctor Strange.
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities.
The Infinity Saga may have been the end for some Marvel heroes, but the Phase 4 animated series What If proves that things are just getting started for Doctor Strange. Uatu the Watcher tells the story of an alternate universe where Stephen Strange didn't lose his hands in the car accident, but the love of his life, fellow Dr. Christine Palmer. Heartbroken and consumed by grief, Strange goes on a familiar journey in search of a way to reverse fate, leading him to become a master of the mystic arts. Only this time, he abuses his power and tries everything from time travel to consuming the essence of magical creatures to get her back, but nothing works. No matter what he does, Christine always dies. He learns that her death is an absolute point in time that cannot be undone. Otherwise, he would never learn the mystic arts and create a paradox that destroys the universe. Men will literally rather risk all of existence instead of going to therapy. Eventually, an alternate version of himself, a good Doctor Strange who had accepted Christine's death, intervenes. Like, same universe, different timeline. Keep up. But bad Doctor Strange devours good Doctor Strange too, finally giving him enough power to break the absolute point. Only it backfires in the worst possible way. The universe collapses around him due to the paradox, and though he survives by creating a protective pocket dimension, Christine is disgusted by the monster he's become and fades from existence, leaving this all-powerful Strange Supreme devastated, alone, and full of regret. But that's not the last we see of him. Uatu tells of another universe where Ultron beat the Avengers, collected the Infinity Stones, and became so powerful that he gained multiversal awareness.
I see you.
In the middle of telling this story, Ultron bursts through reality and attacks the Watcher. He broke into the narrator's house. Uatu was unable to beat Ultron, and so he assembled the Guardians of the Multiverse to take him down, with the supremely powerful Strange Supreme at the head of the team naturally. Together, they succeed in stopping Ultron and Killmonger after he makes a grab at the Infinity Stones. Strange and Uatu seal them away in a pocket dimension, and Strange pledges to watch over them in their tiny little prison. So, even though he went down a dark path, this episode shows there may be some good in him yet.
I'm really sorry to bother you, sir, but...
Please, safe to have the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Stephen.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Now, going back to our Doctor Strange in the MCU timeline, things go awry when Spider-Man asks him to make the world forget his no longer secret identity.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. What the
Strange may have grown a lot as a person, but he's still plenty arrogant, so he rushes into casting a spell, which Peter immediately messes up, resulting in a multiversal mashup of Spider-Man villains. Strange and Peter have a disagreement on how to settle the matter, and Strange gets hung out to dry while Peter takes his villains to therapy. Yeah, that doesn't quite work out. And it all comes to a head when Peter is joined by 2 more Peters from alternate universes to put a stop to the villains and send them back to where they belong. But it's never that easy, is it? Thanks to the Green Goblin doing Green Goblin things, the multiverse begins to tear open, leaving Peter to make the ultimate sacrifice. And so, Doctor Strange casts a spell to make everyone, like everyone, forget about Peter Parker, which finally repairs the multiverse.
Every night, I dream the same dream.
As you can tell, Doctor Strange has been messing around with the fabric of reality a lot, and he's about to find out what happens when that fabric starts to tear. As we head into his next solo movie, it seems like all this defiance of the laws of nature will come back to bite him in the cape. We'll see the return of Mordo, Strange Supreme, and the newly minted Scarlet Witch, meet the multiverse-hopping Miss America, and watch Doctor Strange get pulled kicking and screaming into the Multiverse of Madness. Thanks for watching. For more on the state of the MCU, check out everything you need to know about the Marvel Multiverse, and be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you like to watch IGN.